Hi YouTube, it's Catherine Michelle. Today we're going to go ahead and start a series that I'm going to call Telephone Murder. I'm sure most people have played it one time or another, most people at camp or at school. It's a game called telephone. So you have a piece of information that gets whispered in somebody's ear and it gets passed all the way down the line. And then at the very last person, they, restate what was said to them, and then you compare it with the original. And the vast majority of the time, it is completely different. That is kind of how I am beginning to see this case in terms of the drawings, in terms of the reports written, and people's view of what they saw inside the house. We're going to start with the drawings. In the drawings, I'm going to show you where the knife changes position and where bodies change of position. And then I'll follow up with other videos where we're actually going to go over the reports of the individual officers. The first one's on the scene, and then we will compare notes as to what they saw. And it's pretty interesting. So we're going to begin with two sketches. One that shows the knife really close to David's left ankle, his left leg. The next drawing is going to show the knife a little bit further away, but upper more toward his thigh. And then I'm going to go ahead and put that other picture up that we put up the last time that has the maxilla, but that one actually shows another position of the knife. And today we're just going to cover the knife. Like I said, the next we will cover the bodies because those were moved as well, and they are not in the same positions in the drawings versus what they saw and what they wrote in the reports. And that only leaves one conclusion. One of these reports are going to be fairly accurate. Okay, that's not fair. The reports are accurate per what the officers saw. Now, who in between what time and which report came first, and then the next report, and who was in there in between. We may not be able to figure out who actually moved these bodies, who moved the evidence, but it's beginning to appear that not much of this crime scene remained in situ before the BCA got there, and definitely not before the coroner and the medical examiner got there. The things were moved all over the place. I'm beginning to wonder, and I'm beginning to doubt if there were any photos taken of the crime scene as it was when the first officers walked in. So let's go ahead and take a look at those pictures. As you can see, the drawings in the police reports and in the BCA reports are telling us that that knife was located in at least 3 separate locations right now. That's the information that I have available to me at this moment. Now, keep in mind, this case is fluid. It's going to change. As new evidence comes in, something might change. But as of this point in time, this is the information that I have that I'm reporting to you. And this is why I think it's really important to bring it to your attention, to just to show how confusing and how chaotic this scene must have been to these officers at that time. Now, how I feel they are handling it now compared to what they did when they first walked in, I don't blame them, and I don't think any of us can blame them for how they handled themselves and the situation at the time, except for moving the bodies and the evidence. They knew that was a no-no. However, at that time, we have to understand what they saw to the best. We have to try to imagine and how horrific it was for them. Now, today, years later, when they know better and they know the conclusion they came to was incorrect, I hold them responsible now, but not back then. Let's go back to where they were back then at this point in time. So back then, their police reports are telling us and telling me that that knife was in 3 separate positions. Which one was the original? We don't know. I mean, when I first saw this and first saw in the reports and was looking at this information, it showed the information I had available to me at the time was that it was right next to his leg, his left leg. And the only photo I had was the close-up. And so going by that, and then as new information came open, and now there's new, because Greg was able to get new documentation with his FOIA request, we now have a bigger, broader picture. So now it's changed again. The information provided to us is now different, and there's more that has been included. So we went from, where was the knife? Was it originally at his foot? Was it by his leg? Or was it further away, more toward the couch or the window, or where it is in the photo? Unfortunately, right now, we don't have an answer to that. But I think it's really, really important that we all start to put together this case. And this case, it's just like the game telephone. Every time new information is given, it's a little bit different from what we had before, a little bit different from what was before that, and then before that. Are we ever going to get to the full truth? We're working really hard on it. I mean, Dan Hennon, Greg Fernandez Jr., myself, and numerous others are, and people on YouTube, I don't even know their names, but people are working really diligently, spending a lot of their time and effort to try to figure this out and to bring this information to you. And we can only present it as it's presented to us. So again, go back, look at those photos, and you will see that the police reports were stating and the drawings were stating, because the drawings are part of the police report, drawings are part of written evidence, and that is telling us something. And yes, I'm being snarky, and the person who's watching this knows exactly why. But, you know, go back and look at that, and you will see which position is correct. Hopefully we will figure that out. And next time I'm going to, and you'll notice too, the bodies have changed. And we're going to cover that, especially her, Kamel's hand position. We have a lot to discuss on that one, because this particular drawing now shows, I don't see how anybody beyond a reasonable doubt can look at that photo and say that dog ate her left hand, when it is clearly under her abdomen where the dog could not reach it, but yet it was missing. Okay, lots of information, and we'll cover that next time. I have lots to say on that. But again, I hope this proves a little bit more helpful. And again, keep in mind the case is fluid, and information may or may not change again in the future depending on what is provided to us and what we can get a hold of. And we're doing our best to bring it to you as they present it to us. And by the way, I'll take that $200 now.